Today I'm going to be installing the Hansshow Power Frunk. This is the latest edition of it. It's very basic. They have a single wiring harness now instead of two separate wiring harnesses. So this is basically going to plug into the brains of the system right here. And then it just goes to the power struts. These are very simple to replace. And then we'll just have to do some cable management. They've streamline the emergency cable pull as well. So this part right here is going to go down where the tow hook is, and we'll strap that in there. So if there's an emergency and we need to open the hood, we can from this. So this is just going to be mounted in behind the latch. And so I'll go through each of these steps. One of the things that I've kind of gone through and taken a look at it, you're really only going to need a few tools. Cutters to cut zip ties if you have put any in there, which I will be, a 10mm socket, a 13mm socket, the wrench or socket set for that, and then a small screwdriver to release the strut clips. Now the only other thing that I did purchase is I purchased this white paint Sharpie. You could use some painter's tape, but where I'm going to put this, and I'll show you, this puts a permanent mark around the latch as it exists today. So if I was to have to take this out, or when I'm putting the latch system back together, I know exactly where I started from. So I'm going to put that there with white on the black. It's going to show up really well. So I believe this was just a few dollars. So anyway, that's a pretty important piece just to make sure that you can get it lined up in the same place. Anyway, it's not hard. I've already taken the tub out just to take a look at it, looked at where the wiring is. Different from other installations is I'm going to put the stuff where it belongs, and then I'm going to cable manage before I actually get started. And I'm going to put a diagram. The instructions don't actually say where everything is, so I'll do a top-down view and I'll show you where each of them, they are labeled, but they're not labeled to tell you where they go. It just says like D6, D7, D8. And I will put a diagram in there for you to follow. But anybody could do this. It shouldn't take long at all. Now, if you're interested in purchasing this, right now, Hansshow has the Easter holiday special going from now till, I believe it's April 16th, with up to 20% off. You can use my discount code BC Tesla Guy, and that will get you that 20% off. So let's go ahead and get into it. Looks pretty simple so far. Anyway, let's go. First step is just to remove this cover. It just snaps on, so we'll just pull it off. And just while you have it off, just make sure that all the snaps are in place on this side. If they happen to be stuck here, just replace them here. Anyway, that's pretty simple. These pops off. Then you're gonna, second step is you're gonna wanna remove the intake air. Again, it's held in with these little plugs and just snaps off just like that. And the third step is we're going to remove, we'll take this piece off first. It just pulls up and snaps off. So you can see right here there's a plug. This is the button. So all you're going to do is just gently pull on it, and then it unplugs. So we just put this to the side. The next step is to remove the 7 bolts that hold the tub in place. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There's one right there. These are 10mm, so we'll just use a socket set. And then we'll put these to the side. Now that we have all the bolts undone, it's just held in with a few clips. There's one up here. You can hear that. There we go. Another set up here. There we go. And then we just pull this out and put it to the side as well. So I'd recommend that you do one strut at a time. This is the next step, is replacing the existing struts with the new struts. So they're held in with this little clip right here, and you just take the screwdriver, put it in there, and pull it out. And you can see if the one strut will hold it up. So now that we got the top part out, we're just going to put this small screwdriver into that clip, pop it out, and then just pull it out. Okay, now that we've got the strut out of the way, we're going to go ahead and remove the existing bracket here. So it's a 13 millimeter. On the bracket, it has an R, so when you're looking at it from the front, it's on the right hand side and the arrow points up. So you can see that. So that's the right hand side. So we'll go ahead and put this in place. There we go. So I've gone ahead and run the cable already through the bottom and over to where the controller is going to be. So all you're going to do is take this, put it over the ball, and then pull it in. The next step is you're going to take the top ball, and you're just going to snap it into place. And that's all there is to mounting that strut. And then it doesn't matter which strut you put, they're both exactly the same. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to remove the strut, so it's one clip right there. Pull out. There we go. Same thing down there. There we go. Now we're going to remove that bracket. And again, we're just going to pre-run this wire. So I'll just stick this under here. And then we're going to snap the bottom one in first. There we go. And then turn this to the right direction. And you can see it just snaps into place. There we go. We've got three parts, main parts to install now. We've got the brains right here. We've got the wiring harness. And then we've got this emergency latch plus the bracket that goes behind the latch on the car. So we'll leave this for the next step, but for right now, I've kind of measured out where everything's going to go, and I'm going to have put the double-sided tape that's included in the system, and I stuck it on the back there. So I'm just going to mount this. I think the best place for me is like right here. Just going to mount it right here. That's where it sits. And then I'm going to have the wiring harness here go from here down along, and then there's a plug that has to plug into here, a plug here, one on the back of the bracket here, and then one onto the module. So it's got nice flow this way. And I'm going to use some wiring harness tape to put it all together so it looks neat. So that's part of the reason it's going to take me some extra time. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'll film putting the cables into the right place. I'm not going to connect anything right away, but we'll go from there. Okay, so now that I've decided where I'm going to run this, I'm just going to go ahead and separate all the wires and get them in the right direction, and then I'll cable them together. So for your information, D3 and D4 are for the struts. So one goes to one goes to the other. It really doesn't matter which one. The D2 is the little alarm or bell thing that's going to ring. So I'm going to go ahead and first start by plugging this into the system. And just make sure you get the click. And then that's the one strut over there. So I'll go ahead and make that D4 or D3, I guess. So again, there's no way to mess this up because they can only plug into one type of plug. So just make sure you hear a click every time. There's the one. And here's a second. There we go. Okay, so the ground is going to go to this ground right here. And then D6, D7 is the mounting bracket, and D8 is going to be this one right here. So I'm just going to bring these along. I'm going to use that tape, and I'm going to match it to there. But let me go ahead and I'll do the taping. So this is not electric tape. This is actual wire harness tape. So it's less prone to heat. There we go. So that's where I'm going to bundle the excess ground wire. You probably don't need to do this. I'm just a bit anal when it comes to the cabling management, so. There we go. That's done. We should secure that. So I've got the wiring done up to D6, which is this one right here. So there's a little just tab here. You just pull it out and push down. It's got a little rubber seal on it there. So you're just going to take this one here, the top one, and plug that into the same spot. So you hear it click. And then you're going to take that second wire and you're going to plug it into this one right here. So that's the other side. So you're just going to take these two wires right here and you're going to plug those in until they click. There we go. And there we go. So now we just need to move on to the last piece, which is over here. Okay, so for the last bit of the wiring, I just want to make sure that I get it into the right location. And then I'm just going to wire it up to pair all the way up to the end here. That way it's completely covered. So it's just going to be going over here. Okay, so far we've got the wiring harness all the way down to here. And we've got these last two, which is D7 and D8. D7, I believe, goes to this. Anyway, one will go to this one and one will go to the other one. So let's take a look here. So here's the bracket right here. And I'm going to do a close-up of this, but what we're going to end up doing is taking this mounting hardware off, putting this behind it, and connecting the emergency cable. So before I do that, there's a couple things I want to complete. One is just finish this wiring harness. I've almost got it done. Both these cables go right here. So they're both like right in this area. So I'm just going to wind them up together. Okay, so now it's just one long cable. So we'll just put this to the side. Okay, so this is an important piece right now. So I just want to make sure that we get clear on this. So we're going to be removing the latch. And if we remove the latch, we want to make sure that we can get it back into the same spot that it is right now. So what I've done is I've gotten some Sharpie white paint marker. You can use masking tape or whatever it is that you want. And then I'm just going to draw a line around the edges here. So you can see where it actually was before. So that's a pretty important part. So we'll just let that dry. So what that does is it allows me to get at least put it in the same spot that I had it previous. And then we're just going to go ahead and remove this bracket and slide this bracket in behind it and then mount it back again. Now there is one other step that we have to do, and that is to attach this safety latch right here. And so when we get this apart, there's a spring here. We'll go ahead and we'll remove this first. That's one. Oh, so I actually forgot I need to unconnect this. I'll just pull that out. You have to push down on it like this, and then that pops that out. Looks like it woke it up somehow. So you can see the adjustments that we have here. We can have it up, we can make it down, we can go left, right, up and down. So that's why we needed to adjust this. It adjusts how far the hood goes down and if it pulls it down properly. Okay, so that's loose. So it's going to go in front of this one like that, but this emergency cable has to be applied. So this part goes here, and then the emergency cable is going to go up to this spot right here, and it needs to be placed underneath this spring. So what we're going to do is it's easier to release the spring on this side to start. So just pull this out, release it slowly. So now we've got it loose. And pull this just out of the way. And then place that over top. And then back and down. So everything on the top part's done. And we're just going to go ahead and put that in place. Now, it wasn't difficult at all. A lot of people say they've had some difficulties with that. Not a problem at all. So the cable is going to pull this down and unlatch it. So all we're going to do is just put this back into the same spot. So for now, let's just get the screws in, or the bolts in. And then you can see, if you look at it, it's not in the same place. So we just need to get it in the same spot or a little bit higher. So over here it's out. That would take some time and make sure you get it in the right spot. You might even want to go up a little bit on it, just so that it doesn't pull it down too far on the first attempt. Okay, so I think I've got it pretty well in the right spot, at least close to where it was originally. So I'll just go ahead and tighten this down. Okay, so now that we've got this mounted, we might as well connect it. So D7 is actually the Hansshow bracket. So that one goes here. So we'll just go ahead and plug that in. It can only go one way. There we go. And then the D8 plugs into the actual latch. We'll go ahead and plug that in and lock it. And then we're going to take the original plug and we're going to plug that into this one. And lock it. Okay. This is the original cable that goes to the light, so we'll leave that. So that part's done. Here is the latch that goes along, and then this is the emergency cable, and then this cable right here is going to go down to the tow hook. Now, don't go any further until you've done this, because you don't want to forget and leave this in the car and then have to try and figure out how to open this in your testing. So it's going to go down here, down through here, and then we're going to attach it to this piece right there. And then I'm just going to zap strap this onto that cable. There we go. There we go. And that's it. Now we have the emergency cable there. Okay, so now we got the emergency cable in place. We can continue on with our installation. Put a couple zip ties here. Okay, so this part's done. All the wiring here. Connect the battery. The battery is the last piece we're going to want to do. We've got the fuse kit here. So we'll disconnect the negative battery to start. So we have that disconnected. And then we just pull off this cover. And we can attach it to that spot right there. Slide this underneath. Put it over to that, so we're matching the same piece. There we go. And then all we need to do is take this plug and plug it into this one. Then listen for the click. There we go. And then we can just hide this cable down underneath here. And we do have the fuse here, so if we ever run into a situation we need to replace a fuse, it's easy accessible right there. Let's just go through what I've done here. You can see I've mounted the brains of it here. I've run the wire down along here. I plugged in the ground here. I ran the wire down, and then this is D6 right here. So it's plugged into the splitter here, and then this gets plugged in. And then down here's where I have the D5. That's the controller for the latch right here. So this goes up and up to here. And then over here we've got the front cable plugged in, which is D7. And back behind there is D8 with the splitter. So everything is in place here. Again, the thing that you want to make sure is that you get it in the same location that you had it before. So you can see I've put it right back in the same spot. And that's probably the most important part, because if you get this in the wrong place, then you're going to spend a lot of time adjusting it. So now that we have the latch in place, all that's left is to connect the battery and then do our testing. Anyway, let's get on to that part. And then I've just wired in the battery. So that's hooked up. The last piece right now is the negative. Okay, so I'm on my last steps here. Just verifying I haven't left any tools in here. I've got to plug in the light for testing. So I'll go ahead and plug that in. That will just sit there. This is all secure. Everything seems to be in the right place. Looks good. I'm going to go ahead and plug on the cable for the battery. So before you get started, make sure you leave the tub out. And what we're going to do is we're just going to close the hood, see if it latches properly. If not, then we'll have to make some adjustments here. I'm hoping that I've got it in the right place. Anyway, everything is ready to go. I've got the battery connected. All the wires are in place. I've got the safety latch out there. So I'm ready to begin doing the testing. Okay, so this is the first time we're going to close the hood. So all you do is close the hood with the your cell phone. And there we go, it's closing. And there we go, it's in place. So it looks like it's done. I've got it all lined up. I'm just gonna go take a look at it. So yeah, everything seems to be in line. That's perfect. Yeah, it looks like everything is in line. I'm glad I took the extra effort to mark that latch and to put it back in the exact same place it was previously. Looks like everything is good. I'm going to go ahead and open the frunk again. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. Opens up all the way. We'll close it. Yeah. So it looks like it comes down, then it sucks it down, and then locks it into place. And on the app it shows it's closed. Perfect. Now you can open the frunk now, close and open it with the mobile app. You can press the frunk on your monitor, and you can actually use a voice command as well. Anyway, let's go ahead, open up the hood, and then I'm going to put all the parts back. We'll do the time lapse. Okay, so now that we've got everything back in place, that only took a couple minutes, let's go ahead and close the frunk. Perfect. I just finished the install with the latest version of the frunk opener from Hansshow. Took me about an hour, but if you weren't as meticulous on the wire harness as I was, you could probably do it between 30 minutes and 1 hour. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at how it works. So all you have to do is press the open frunk on the Tesla app. And there you go, it opens up. And then you can close it from the app as well. And it sucks it down, so that works really well. I'll open up one more time here. Okay. So inside here there's a button, and you can press that button and it can actually close it as well. There you go. And there are other options on how to open this. You can use another third party, like there's a watch that you can do, a watch app, or other apps other than Tesla. But you can also open it from the monitor by pressing on the screen there, open frunk, and it will open it up. You can also use voice commands to open the frunk, but you cannot close the frunk with a voice command. That's a limitation, at least what I'm seeing on the screen from Tesla. Anyway,